Welcome everyone to AJ's World of Bodybuilding. IFBB Pro Roy Evans, the Adonis, correct?
Yeah, Adonis is in the building.
Rob Starr, a friend of mine, an athlete, and he has a very successful coaching business out of Canada. Rob Starr, how are you?
Beautiful, beautiful, ready to roll.
Good. And guys, I think I might have COVID. I feel effed up, so you guys gotta take charge. So first of all, the Adonis, Roy Evans. How did you get up with this epic nickname?
Oh man. Okay. So it's kind of a long, convoluted story, but
okay,
pretty much. So I have been doing, posing practice with Chris Comer. And if you saw my posing routines between Indy Pro last year and also New York Pro, I did a guest posing at the DC Pro. I'm bringing sexy back. I'm gonna bring the pizzazz back to the open division. I mean, everybody's looking at classic physique, and I like classic physique. I turned pro as a classic physique guy. But the thing is, one of the issues we're having, I would say, on the pro league, we don't give the fans a show. And when we attempt to do a show, it's a half-ass show. And so there's a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of half-ass posing. There's no presentation. Nobody's trying to win a crowd over. And that's the biggest thing that separates us from the bodybuilders of the early 2000s and the 90s and before. They gave the fans a show. And so that's what I want to do. I want to give the fans something beautiful to look at, not just, oh, well, I'm a badass and, look at me, I'm big, bad, I'm an open bodybuilder. I mean, we're posing half naked, oiled and tanned up in an audience majority of men.
It sounds very homoerotic, but we enjoy
it. Yes. Like how many women are looking at this, and it's basically a freak show. And so what I want to change up is, I'm not trying to be some big badass dude. Like I did my badass thing when I was in the military. Like I don't have anything to prove. Oh, like what am I going to do? Oh, I'm gonna walk on stage. I'm gonna kick their ass. No, like what are we doing? We each are artists. That's what we need to present. We need to present an art form. This is an art form. Like, yes, it's a competition. It's a sport, but it's also a pageant. And we need to have some artistic integrity going on that stage. So that's what I plan on doing. I want to win the crowd. Every time you come to a show, I want to show the fans something to look at. And that's what I'm here to do. And that's what the Adonis is. That's what everybody's beautiful. And so I want to present to the fans a level of beauty. When I hit the stage, I've been working on this artistic piece for you all to see.
Well, we are looking forward to that. Rob Starr, quick, who's your favorite performer of all time? Strictly routines.
Ooh, all time. Man, oh man. I love that Sean Ray performance. I just love it, man.
Sean Ray's your favorite.
The performance that he did, that was like some serious passion. And like Roy's saying, it's missing. It's missing. They need to bring it back. And you see it sometimes when the Arnold Classic goes down and the best poser and the money's on the line. But you need to see it in every show. And I totally agree with him. That's what I want to see. I want to see the flow to the music, just the beauty of it, not most musculars left and right. I mean, that doesn't take as much talent as what Roy's talking about.
We're going to talk about what's happening in bodybuilding this week at this show, and we're looking at the Tsunami Nutrition Pro Show. We're going to Italy. It's a tiny show. Milan Sadek. Are you guys familiar with Milan Sadek?
Yep, jumping up from 212.
He's been up and down. We can talk quickly about the athletes there. We have William Martins, the J. Cutler of Brazil, they said. Tremendous size, great structure. We have It's a very tiny show, guys. We have Jamie is not doing it. We have Muhammad El Imam, who placed second in Italy, who's been doing, he competed a lot in 2022. Roy, you competed against him.
Yeah.
And then we have Mark, who's bringing some nice aesthetics and shape and flow back to, well, we have it in bodybuilding, but he's bringing it to this show. Rob, first quick, your top three and why?
My top three. So you're saying Mark Hector's in this one?
Mark Hector is in.
He's jumping in. Yeah, him and El Imam. So that's my flip flop. If Mark's legs were at El Imam's level, my God, he would be just destroying. That's the only downfall. So I'd have to say El Imam in this one with Hector. And I know it sounds ridiculous because I love Hector's physique, but El Imam, I just feel like he's top to bottom put together. Hector second.
Roy, what about you?
So I'm always biased to Mark because I really appreciate his physique and what he's been doing. So I'm gonna put my money on him to take it, assuming he's coming in 100%. I think 100% Mark. I think he's gonna take the show. El Imam, though, he's nasty. He's nasty. I've been on stage. He's a lot of power, a lot of energy. So if it's really going to be who's 100% and how they show up. I know the legs on Mark are a slight weak point. However, I don't know. It depends on how I think there's certain, if he poses his legs right, I think he could take it, you know. So, and then for third, I got the Brazilian.
William Martins. Mark Hector competed, I saw him at 274 at the Arnold Classic. There was a lot of talk that he gained 27 pounds since last year. But then quickly they figured it was too much, that he wasn't in that crisp conditioning he needs to be to win shows. So he dropped 11 pounds for the show in France. And he's going to drop another pounds for this show. And he promised me he will be peeled. Are we putting too much focus on how much you weigh as a pro, Roy? Does that really matter?
Shit, you gonna ask me that? Hell yeah, we put too much focus on how much we weigh. Look at everybody's pose. Oh, I'm walking around 300 pounds. I'm walking around over 300 pounds. I'm walking, you 300 pounds of total shit. And it shows on stage. And so this, I get it. Size, we want size. I get it. I totally understand. You can't have the open division and you can't have the competitors looking normal. And I perfectly understand that. But we also have to emphasize the other aspects that of bodybuilding that make the physique beautiful. We have to start really coming in like, okay, what's the conditioning look like? What is the shape, the symmetry? You know, you have guys that are coming up that are big, but they have blatant muscular imbalances. Why? This is the pro league, and so I just feel like I gotta give. That's been the criticism on me. Roy, you're not big enough. All right, I'm working on size, but let's build the size over time, like Dexter did, and let's give a quality physique. And so I think that's really what we should start seeing, and I think the fans are going to reward that, because when they go to a show, when you have a stacked lineup of aesthetic looking bodybuilders from all over the world, that makes a show memorable.
I have Mark Hector winning because I think he's going to improve with each showing. And I think it's enough to slip by Muhammad El Imam. But also I have William, the Brazilian. I have him second because I really like his physique. And I think he's going to do some big damage at this show. We're going to speak now about a lot of people predicted Michael Krizo. Can we get his, how do we pronounce his name correctly? Michael Krizo, who's he is the most winning elite bodybuilder of all time. That's of the federation. He made the announcement he's going to switch. A lot of people like, oh, this is going to be Olympia top 10. Or this is going to challenge Big Ramy. And we'll see about that. But he's making his pro card attempt in Italy. And Rob, why is he not just doing the Italian show right away? Because he's going to win the pro card no matter what.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just do the Italian show right away, Rob?
I just think he's not going to go full throttle on this amateur show to get his pro card because he knows he's going to get it. Like, he's just, his size, everything's just incredible. Now, contending for the Olympia top, beating Ramy is that's just crazy talk. That's crazy talk. And I think his physique's amazing. It's just, there's levels to the game. And I think that people are underestimating him a lot of times. Some people are overestimating him, but I can see him top 10, but you're going, why is he not going to jump right into the Italian show? Maybe he's just going to try to time it closer to the Olympia. Like, is he still going to Prague now? Is that still his pro show?
So I asked him, and he said, you're correct. I'm doing the Italian show to get my pro card, but he's going to do the Prague show. I think it's a week later because that's his sponsor show.
Oh
yes.
That lines up.
Yeah. Roy, Michael, debuting in Prague, winning in Italy here. Would you like to see him jump straight into it and go challenge Mark Hector right away and go for Olympia? Or do you like just waiting for Prague? It's his sponsor's home show and get the Olympia victory there, or Olympia qualification most likely there?
I'm personally indifferent. I think he needs to do whatever's gonna put his best foot forward. I'm not gonna as a fellow athlete, I'm not gonna judge him on that, because there's a strategy in order to get to the Olympia and also maintain your health while doing it. So I think if his camp, if they've all gotten together, they have a strategy on whatever's going to make him peak the best. He will he get his pro card? I think he's a shoe-in for that. No questions asked. I do think turning your pro in this league and competing as a pro and doing well in the league, those are two totally different things. So all this talk, he's going to come and he's going to sweep, and he's going to sweep and jump up, and he's going to beat Ramy. Let's hold your horses for a little bit. There's a certain thing of having confidence, but there's also a certain thing of delusions of grandeur. So let's get your pro card, go into a show, get adjusted, because this is different from the elite federation or whatever they're naming. They named that, and let's get them adjusted, and then I know he'll do well in the pro league. Just let him get in his stride and do his thing.
Legion is also this weekend. The Legion show. Tonio Burton, he's in. Jamie the Giant is flying all the way from the UK. He has sponsors now with the Mutant, and they are really advertising him in a really good way. And I think going to America will, as you know, you have to make it in bodybuilding, you have to make it in America. So I think that's good for him. We have Stanimo, the best friend to the late great Sean Roden. He is doing it. We have Kenneth Jackson. Are you guys familiar with him?
Yep.
We have Jojo Nitfiro, a legend. I think he's competed for now 20 years. Are you guys familiar with him?
Not him.
I'm not familiar with him, no.
And then we have Justin Rodriguez, the Nightmare. He's doing this show, and at the Legion, Roy, can Tonio Burton stop Justin Rodriguez at this show?
So I've been on stage with Justin. Justin, he's nasty. Tonio has a shape. So I only know necessarily Tonio from the 212 Tonio from back when I did Indie Pro last year. He's come up greatly. I love the way he looks. He's putting size on, and he puts size on balance, like very evenly, which looks great on his frame. I also like Jamie the Giant.
Oh, really?
So I think, oh yeah, Jamie the Giant is nasty, and he is very, very dangerous, and we can't sleep on him. I'm buddies with Stanimal. We both have the Sean Roden connection. So I'll put it like this: I think it's going to be a three-way battle between Justin, Tonio, and Jamie. The only reason why I have a question mark by Stanimal, it depends on where his head is at and how his off season and everything in life has been going. Because that's a very, I don't think people really grasp like how much of an emotional hit that is to have your best friend die, and then just the stress surrounding that. So I'm not sure mentally where Stanimal has been in all of this. So I think it's going to be, he has time in the grand scheme of his career, but he's going to have to bring things back together with his mental edge, I think. As far as I think the top three, though, one is going to be where the judges are in terms of that side. That Tonio has to battle a lot of muscle with Jamie the Giant and Justin. I do think Jamie the Giant is more aesthetic than Justin. However, he's not totally as filled out. He has that's a huge frame, so he has way more muscle he can put on in the course of his career before he's 100%. So we haven't seen a final form Jamie the Giant. Tonio is he's right at the middle because he's shorter, but every inch of this dude is nasty. And so he could pull a Sean Clarita if he's sharper than both of them and everything is just right. I think he can take it, but it really depends on if Justin comes in off or he has something happen like he had at that New York Pro where his lats weren't totally opening up during the posing and all of that. And he's showing big muscular imbalances. That's the question. So I'm looking forward to that three-way battle, though, between those three.
Rob, Tonio and Jamie beat Justin Rodriguez. How?
Like, you know me, when it's the tall guys, I'm always a fan of these tall guys. And Jamie, I think his physique just looks amazing, and people knock him. He needs to be 350 pounds on stage and filled out is always the talk right now. Cutler said that. Like, I think he looks incredible. If you ask me personally who would win the show, Jamie right away. But I love that physique. Now, how is it going to go? Rodriguez, he's going to be refreshed. He's going to come back. And I think there's no question he's going to win the show. Now, I think second it's going to be between Tonio and Jamie.
That's big size length difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in my opinion, my only knock on Tonio, besides the height, is going to be lower core. I find his lower core is never super tight. Whenever I analyze pictures, that's what I see, especially in the side tricep. If you ever pull up those shots, you sometimes see he lets it go. I don't think it's an issue like that. It's more control. But I think those two side by side with Jamie in the spotlight right now, he is definitely the best he's ever looked. I can't see him not getting second. Tonio in third. Stan, I just don't think is on. I think other guys will take out Stan. I don't think he's going to be even in the top 5, and that's nothing against him. I still think he's just on the rise, slowly building that physique, right? So.
Yeah, Stan here in Europe, he's been a name for quite some time, but he's been very inconsistent. So I really hope we would like to see him because he's a great athlete of the sport. He promotes the sport. Does a lot of like YouTubes, and I heard he's a very nice man, and I would like to see him get back into that, into the mix of being a contender for shows. I would love to see that, but this is going to be very hard for him. But let's see. And they have a stream. That's a good. Roy, how do you feel when you're on stage and people can't see you?
Oh shit. I think the streaming's the way of the future, and I think it's great for the sport. So I hope every show, I feel every pro show should be streamed, and every pro qualifier, all the national shows should be streamed. And I don't think going into the future of the sport, if we're going to not only sustain it, but allow it to grow, I think that needs to be a mandatory thing and a quality stream at that.
We have some other news, Olympia news. Probably one of the biggest favorites in America, for sure. Nick Walker has teamed up with the coach that made him he didn't made him into a star, but he had tremendous success with throughout his career. Matt Jansen, one of the most respected coaches right now in the pro league. Good move, Roy, wasn't it? To get back with the guy that you had so much success with.
Yeah, I don't like commenting on so much a fellow competitor's inner circle like that. Whatever they had going on that caused them to split, I'm glad that they squashed it. I think it's good for both of them, and especially with that history and that friendship, I think it's going to be great for Nick. I also think it's going to be great for Matt. And so I wish them both the best going forward. I think it's a win. I think it's a win-win amongst all of them. So I'm wishing them nothing but the best.
Rob, where do you see Nick Walker at this Olympia?
Man, this Olympia is something else. This is going to be magic, but I think it's going to be still hard to hold into a top 5 even for Nick Walker. And I'm a Nick Walker fan. I just think this Olympia is so deep with you got Samsung looking just ridiculous, and he's so complete. You just have this lineup. This lineup is crazy. So can he pass? I think he could pass like a hottie, in my opinion. I think he can beat something like that. But now I think the top, I don't see how Brandon's even going to hang in there with his quads not holding up. So
yeah, let's get. As people know, everyone knows I'm a Bradley Curry fanboy. But when we see, when we see did you see how Big Ramy looks, Roy, right now? And he hasn't even started dieting. This is his first week. Have you seen Big Ramy, Roy? God, have you seen the tight waist?
I've seen a lot of Big Ramy. Big Ramy's big. As long as if Big Ramy's 100% on the conditioning, Big Ramy will continue his reign. I think any other talk outside of that is delusional at this point. Ramy gives ground to the rest of the field when he's not in shape, and that's how it's always been. And Ramy coming in shape that's a Ramy thing, that's Ramy's worst enemy is Ramy at this point. I like Brandon Curry. I think he's great for the sport. I think he's a great guy. He looks totally beautiful on stage. Every time I've seen Brandon, even the way he poses, I actually like the way Brandon poses too. I like his overall presentation. It's just, sometimes the legs just the upper body slightly overpowers the legs. Slightly though. I think he's done a great job evening things up. And so I do think he has a shot, depending on what happens with Ramy. Hadi, his conditioning is immaculate. The only knock against Hadi is Hadi's height. And Hadi's height, when you put him next to a Brandon and a Ramy, I think that works. I think that works against him. So that's kind of I kind of think that's where the battle is. Nick, can he gain ground? Yes, but I believe Nick gains ground if the other top three aren't on point. And I also don't want to sleep on William Bonac.
So I was going to say, Rob, William Bonac, is in my top three.
He's in my top three.
Yes, he's in my
Yep.
top three. That leads out Derek Lunsford here now. A lot of people saw the guest posting and they're like, oh, this is automatically top 5 at the Open Olympia. This is amazing and blah, blah, blah. He's going into the Open now. He did not qualify. First of all, do we agree or disagree with the special invitation?
You asking me?
Yeah?
I don't like them. I definitely don't like special. Yeah, and I think Derek Scott, I think the best aesthetic shape overall in the probably almost the entire league. Like I think he like contends like a bum steed for just crazy shape. He's won that 212
You
Olympia.
didn't like the special invitation. Why is that?
I just because a lot of people said it, and I do agree with he had so many opportunities to compete, and he chose not to, which is way better for him. He preserved himself, one less prep, gained muscle tissue. So, yeah, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it was the right thing to do. Do I want to see it as a fan? Oh, hell yeah. I want to see this, but I just think he should have done a show and actually had to qualify.
How do you think he will fare, though? Where do you see him around?
I don't think Derek would even beat Nick Walker, and I'm a Derek fan too because that shape aesthetic. I don't think he will even take out Nick Walker. I think him and Hadi would be an amazing battle to see. I don't think he could even beat Bonac, so I think it'll be a challenge for him to get into the top 5. And I'm definitely a fan of that physique, but it's just how's it going to look when he actually gets polished? Because if you looked at him at that 212 look, he looks 212, small, wide, crazy shape. He still looks small when you put him against somebody actually conditioned, because he wasn't conditioned at Pittsburgh. He was round and bubbly and looked wicked, but the glutes weren't in. We're not there yet.
I think this is going to be an amazing Olympia. Roy, as an open bodybuilder, do you like how the sport is going at the Olympia, at the open class? Do you like it? Or is there something you would change as an athlete competing in the open class, trying to make the Olympia, hopefully next year?
Everything that I so far like everything that Dan Solomon has been doing. I think Jake Wood and Dan Solomon are doing wonderful, amazing job in terms of what they got going on with the Olympia.
I'm thinking more about the judging aspect.
The judging aspect, well, it's not even so much the Olympia, it's just how they do the division in general. It's size is king. Size is king. And so if you want to have a show where you have the biggest, most muscular monstrosity on stage, I mean, that's what the Open is. That's what it is. I mean, if they're basically saying that. Do I wish they would reward more aesthetic physiques? Yes. Is it going to happen? Probably not.
But we have some nice physique. We have Rafael Bradeo, Samson Dauda.
Oh yeah, but I mean, let's be honest. That's the latest kind of anomalies that are showing up now. we'll see how they start placing. Like, yeah, we got Samson, we have Raphael, we have Andrew Jack. I mean, these guys are aesthetic. You have other guys in the open division in the league that haven't gotten Olympia call that are aesthetic also. But having a fully stacked top 5, top 10 Olympia aesthetic lineup, I mean, that's where you have the show, in my opinion. Now, whether you'll see that, I mean, there's a lot of bodybuilders you have to cancel out to get that. And so I think at some point, that's where the fans are going to have to do their thing and say, hey, this is what we want to see. And then maybe that's where the athletes rep in the league, and they can start talking judging. Maybe they want to bring back the symmetry rounds. Maybe they want to do certain things like that. And then that's when we can start really having that battle on who's aesthetic, who's not. Because there, in my opinion, this is my humble opinion, there's guys on that stage that people call aesthetic that aren't really aesthetic.
Like who?
I'm not going to go
Like
into
who?
that, AJ. I'm not going to go into that. I've turned over a new leaf. I'm not going to talk shit. All I'm going to say is there's folks that they've been claiming are aesthetic, and they're not really aesthetic, and they're considering them aesthetic because they put them next to bodybuilders that aren't aesthetic.
Okay.
You think Hunter Labrada? That's one that gets.
Yeah. You're not going to do that to me, Rob. You're not going to do that to me. I'm just saying there's athletes on that stage that aren't really aesthetic, that they've been calling aesthetic because they're next to unaesthetic guys. And when you go back to the early 2000s, that was really aesthetic because you had aesthetic. That was the battle of the aesthetic guys. Like you need to have that battle. That's where you start really like seeing who's aesthetic. Oh, you have a small waist. You think you have a small, yeah. It's easier. It's easy for me to be next to somebody like Nick Walker or somebody and say, oh yeah, my waist is small. Of course it's small, but then when Nick Walker never claims he's an aesthetic bodybuilder. That's not his lane. He sticks to his lane and what helps him win. But what I'm saying is there's other bodybuilders that have been giving this aesthetic award when they're not really aesthetic. They're said to be good posers. They're not really posing that good. How many half-ass splits and half-ass pirouettes have we seen on stage with these damn posing routines?
Well, we take whatever we can get.
Yeah, I know, because it's hot, right?
Well, before we go, we got to ask you guys a quick, just yes or no. Since we started with so much homoerotic things, we need to finish it off with some girls. Quick, you guys, do you follow the girls' classes? Yes or no?
I follow women's physique, and my wife's competing this weekend at Canadian Nationals here. So
Okay.
bikini. So I follow some of bikini.
Okay. Do you follow the sport, the girl classes, Roy?
I follow. I dabble in the wellness division. They all are winners. They all are winners to me.
Anyone
give the ladies their flowers
at this Olympia? Is anyone beating Andrea Shaw? Yes or no?
No.
Probably not.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, probably not.
Sarah Viegas, is anyone beating her?
If they're still going on conditioning, no way.
Yeah.
She's too ridiculous. She's beating the guys in conditioning.
And the last one, Sydney Gillen. Can anyone beat her?
Nah, Vitamin C is holding that. She's holding that.
I agree. It's just that's done.
We got some tremendous dominant females right now. No. And in those 3 classes, guys, I want you to watch it because those Andrea Shaw, Sarah Viegas, and Sydney Gillen, these are like in their classes, it's like feel heat level in their classes, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Andrea's amazing. Those
Oh,
arms.
Andrea Shaw, Roy. You got to stop with the wellness, Roy, and get over to women's bodybuilding. That's where the freaks are, bro. Stop with this wellness nonsense, Rob. Okay, guys.
Look, man. I like what I like. All right. Don't tell me what show I can watch.
There you go. Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed a little bit what's going in bodybuilding this week. Roy, the Adonis. Just the name. It's like, what's your name? It's the Adonis. Thank you for coming on. Your YouTube channel. YouTube channel is what's going on there?
Oh, my YouTube channel?
Yes.
So got a lot of things in the works. My main focus right now, I'm in the process of moving from the DC area into Houston. So once I get out there and get settled, get back into the training rhythm, stay tuned. The Rise of the Adonis YouTube series is coming. And so I'll chronicle the whole as I transition from my off season. Once Chris Aceto and Dwayne Turner and I, once we pick out our show and where we want to go with it, we'll go full bore.
Rob, if people want you as a coach, they can contact you where?
Instagram, team.starr.
What classes do you usually coach?
I do them all, and then we do all the posing too in our private studio here. And this weekend nationals, we got you're gonna see Dorian Hamilton, HD Muscle there. He's gonna be competing too, so I'll be there live watching that. So this is a big one for Canada. We only got 2 real good ones.
Thank you guys very much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.